What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 3 of the 1K Offers Experience. Today is our final day where we're going to be teaching you how to actually sell your $1,000 offer and to do it in a way where you are getting less price resistance at your premium than you might be getting now for programs priced at $200 per month or less. And yesterday we brought on Justine and Jeremy, and we told you about some of our other coaches who were charging as low as $50 a month, raised their prices to over $500 per month. Some of them actually got less price resistance at their higher prices. And you learned a little bit about why. Now, today, I'm going to be showing you an uncommon framework for how to position yourself in a way that allows you to charge a premium and have people be happy to pay it. So I'm just going to move in and pull up our presentation for today. And we have a few awesome guests who we'll be chatting with at the end of the lesson today. So stick around, we'll do a little Q&A as well. I'm just gonna let a few of them into the room and make Kate co-host so she can do the same. Kate, your co-host.
Woohoo!
And let's get the presentation.
So we want to know too, who's watching live today and who is team replay. So you can drop it in the comments, hashtag live, hashtag replay. We just want to know where you're at today. And either way, we really appreciate you being here. We love that you're showing up for yourself, your clients, and your business.
Yeah, pump those comments. We'd love to see who's actually here. And once I'm done presenting, I'd love to see where you're at. So again, as I promised today, we're going to be talking about how to sell your $1,000 offer with less resistance than a low ticket offer. And today we've got an agenda where first and foremost, we're going to talk about how to pre-sell your coaching at $1,000 per month, where the people who you are going to be presenting your offer to, they're already pre-sold that you are a premium coach. By the time you get to the pitch, what I'm going to be showing you today is how to create a no-brainer $1,000 per month pitch, one where they're like, wow, this is exactly what I need. And at the end of today's call, we'll be showing you how you can get some one-on-one implementation support from me, Kate, and the team as well. So the way that you are going to pre-sell your premium offer is with what I call the authority roadmap. Some of you may already have been sent this. That was by design. We wanted you to have taken a look at it. And today we are going to be diving in and giving you the nitty-gritty details on how to implement the roadmap that is going to allow you to pre-sell your offer at up to $1,000 per month. So I've got a fun little chart here. The authority roadmap starts with becoming an authority in your local network. This is how, and granted, there's other ways to go about this, but this is how I built my business Beyond Macros. Because I started with my local network and I became the authority in my gyms. I became the authority locally in my area when it came to nutrition. And this meant that the people who were in my gyms, who were in my local network, they saw me as the authority. So when it came time for me to essentially present them an offer for nutrition coaching, they knew that they were going to be paying a premium. By leveraging my local network, I was able to get some niche authority opportunities, like being a guest on podcasts within my niche, like being able to get in front of some other influencers' audiences, so on and so forth. And as I built authority in my niche, then my local network was like, wow, Matt's really branching out. He's starting to get, famous outside of just our little circle. And so that reinforced my authority with my local network. And then my local network was cheering me on whenever I was getting opportunities to be on podcasts. Some of my podcasts, because my local network, was so strong, some of the podcasts I appeared on, people were like, holy crap, you have the most popular podcast I've ever released. Because I had all these local people who were like behind my back who would go and listen, increase their listenership. And the people were like, wow, I need to have that back. And listen, I've never gotten to mass authority. I'm not a household name. But once you've established niche authority, you can leverage that up into mass authority. And we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. Because I have worked with some celebrity clients in the past who have hit that level. And yeah, you don't necessarily have to hit that level. You can create an amazing business just based off of your local authority. You can create a really solid big business just based off of having niche authority and local authority dialed in. But there is a place, and some people may want to understand how to essentially develop that mass authority. So let's look at these in phases. The best way to not swim upstream, to really make this process as seamless as possible, as high leverage as possible, meaning less energy to get more output, is to start with building your local authority. And I recommend doing this by building your authority where your niche is. Like for me, it was my local CrossFit gyms. So I knew I wanted to leverage up into the CrossFit niche and become an authority in nutrition for the CrossFit niche. But I had to start with my CrossFit gyms. The other thing is, if you're like, well, locally isn't really the place where if I develop authority, people are going to be willing to pay a premium. That's okay. Maybe build authority within your network where they might be willing to pay a premium. And now granted, remember how I talked about on day one that it's okay. You don't have to jump straight to charging $1,000 per month. If your local gym or your local or current network is in a place where $1,000 per month, you maybe would have one person that could afford it. That's okay. Maybe especially if you're living in a low cost of living type of place, where if you were able to charge, let's say $500 per month, $400 per month, and have, 5 to 10 clients and be full-time because that covers your living expenses, fine. That might be how you price it. But you want to build your authority so that you can charge that premium, whatever a premium is, for your initial local network. And by building your local authority, building up your local star power or your local celebrity, this makes it so that when people go to work with you, they know that they're going to be paying a little bit of a premium. And a huge part of this, I'm going to show you how here below, but a huge part of this is that you've got to, especially when it comes to local, do the best you can for your clients. You have to go above and beyond, and you need to create raving fans. So providing a VIP experience to these people is so important. Don't be discouraged if you're like, oh man, I've only got 3 clients, 4 clients, 5 clients. Be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I've only got 3, 4, 5 clients. I can go so far above and beyond for these people that there's no way that they're not going to be walking around, raving about me. For me, having a low client load as I was getting started at my local gym was actually a good thing, because I was able to give so much to those clients. And they eventually became walking billboards for Beyond Macros. And then things spread out, as you see here, in concentric circles. I essentially, one person told 2 people, told 3 people, and it grew quite fast. So don't be discouraged if it feels like things are moving slow. Just go above and beyond for those people who you've actually managed to sign up from your local niche, and go from there. So we want to talk a little bit about how you can actually go about building up your authority in your local niche while also generating leads who are pre-sold and see you as an authority. So first things first is getting into your local media. Whether it's newsletters, newspapers, magazines, local TV, these are all great ways to build up your authority, because you can point back to that. Be like, I've been on Channel 5, I've been in this newsletter, I've been in the newspaper. When I was marketing manager at our CrossFit gym, we realized that we were totally missing out on opportunities to be top ranked gyms in local newspapers and magazines. So we just did what it took to get in the running for, top gyms. We got in the running to get some of our trainers as top personal trainers, and we won, those local awards. And that was huge. That built up our authority. We were one of the more expensive gyms in the area, membership wise, but because we were rated the top gym, people were willing to pay. We have a client, Justine, who you heard from yesterday. Justine, she is, a military spouse. Her husband, Brad, is in the military. And one of the things that she did was she realized, well, there's these newsletters for people in the military that go out. So what she did was she got in contact with the people who put out the newsletters And she was able to get some features in those newsletters for her nutrition business. And she got a bunch of clients from that. And because she was in the newsletter, it established her authority. All right. So there's a lot of things that you can do with local media to establish authority that, we've helped our clients with that have gotten some pretty quick momentum. Now, I know I've been yammering on, so I want to see, Kate, is there anything that you want to share about as well, not just on local media, but, kind of any of these ways to build local authority?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Tiff and Andrew, who you're going to be hearing from in just a little bit, and Brant, who I know you've heard from in the past if you've been in our community for a little while, they have hosted workshops, challenges, and seminars at their local gyms that have done really well for them. They were able to build that local authority within their gym membership, and they've done it in a really cool way. They've understood their clients, right? And they figured out how to create a challenge that was easy, that clients could see a result from, but one that wasn't like bombarding them and fire hosing them with information, but really guided them in a simple process to getting a result. And I know, there's been t-shirts involved, there were prizes, it was a whole thing, and it was super fun. And I know Brant's actually been on like the little local speaking circuit. I believe he booked 9 workshops at his local gym chain. So that was really fantastic. And I'm super excited for you guys to hear from Tiff and Andrew in just a bit. With coaching local influencers free of charge, our client Annie Chen did this. So Annie actually works with bikers, and she really helps them alleviate their back pain. If you think about it, bikers are hunched over all the time, and many of them are in a lot of pain. It's a very specialized niche. So she had a client who literally was on the floor, like crawling, was in that much pain. And Annie really coached her up to get her back on the bike and winning races. So, and Annie did it for free because she is somebody who's very big in their local niche. Well, the past, several of Annie's clients have all come as a result from that local testimonial and what Annie has been able to help this client with. So huge, in-person results. And then from the local social media perspective, well, Yvette, who, you've heard from in the past, who's very active in our community, she does a lot with CrossFit Lolo. In fact, she is their nutrition coach there, and she's expanding her team of nutrition coaches. So she does a lot locally, and she does a lot for CrossFit Lolo, creating content for them that is nutrition related. Casey Bordas, one of our other clients, she is definitely like a local celebrity. In fact, she often wins. I think this is the 2nd year in a row that she's won best local holistic healthcare practice. So she's creating great content based on the patients that she sees and what she's able to do with them. It's been amazing to watch them, and they're really growing their businesses in a fun way with awesome local people.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to hear their stories. And I'm interested, for those of you watching, type 1 in the chat if this is something that feels relieving to you to hear that, oh, wow, I actually haven't been approaching local in this way yet. And type 2 if you're like, no, I'm already good. I've been approaching my local network like this, already know this, you guys are wasting my time. So type 1 if this is kind of different and relieving, and type 2 if you're like, I've already heard all this before, I'm already doing all this. All right, so that wraps up phase 1, building local authority. This is one of the places that we generally start with clients in our VIP Coach Academy and VIP Coach Mentorship, because again, we grow in these concentric circles. We grow in these concentric circles. It makes growth a lot easier. If you lay down this foundation of local folks where you have local celebrity, then when you move to phase 2, which is niche authority, you become the hometown hero. It becomes this reinforcing process. And that's why the lines on the authority roadmap are drawn in both directions. Local authority helps you build niche authority, then your niche authority helps you build your local authority. This is a self-reinforcing process. So we want to sequence things properly where possible. Now, phase 2, we've got niche authority. And this means that you're essentially building your authority in the media that targets your niche. So for me, being a nutrition coach who was focusing on the CrossFit niche, I was looking to get onto podcasts. Like the biggest one at the time, which really helped my business blow up, was the Wadcast podcast. There's also newsletters that went out, like man, I'm not in CrossFit anymore. What was it? Morning Chalk Up. There were all these different media outlets that were big in the niche, and my goal was to get into as many of them as possible. And the goal isn't just getting into their media, but also to start growing your own niche media, growing your own niche audience, because that opens up more opportunities for you to essentially have JV partners, referral partners, to do collaborations with other media. It allows you to own, the list of your own audience. So if you want to do conversion events like this, then ultimately you have people that you can promote it to without always relying on, the niche media to promote for you. Now, I put Hometown Hero here because when you develop your niche authority and you have the opportunities to maybe speak on a podcast, all of the people who are at your back from your local, you're the hometown hero, so they are going to reinforce you with the niche media. Now, in terms of how to go about this, Kate, I think I'll just turn it over to you because, ultimately you're the one who does the most to help our coaches in VIP Coach Academy and VIP Coach Mentorship with implementing a lot of these strategies.
Gosh, when it comes to borrowed audiences, there are so many opportunities. In fact, I'm actually adding more even to our training modules because there's just so many more, and I'm really excited to share with our coaches. So I'll just actually speak on a couple that some of our clients have used recently that have gotten them great results. We've actually chatted about him before, but Deval, one of the clients that we've worked with in the past, had identified a really amazing borrowed audience opportunity by getting in front of somebody else who has a Facebook group of several thousand members that really need what he offers. So every quarter he's been invited to come back and teach and speak on his niche, like what he wants to speak about. And then his call to action is simply to book a call with him. And I think we've called him in the past like the triage king, because this man I think he booked like 80 calls or 90 calls from one of those speaking events, think about now how that could transform your business. If you were able to book in 90 calls on your calendar of people who were interested in working with you, how would that change your life and your business? If you had 90 calls booked, would you then become a waitlisted coach? I mean, really think about the possibilities here. Our other client, Razvan, he actually just booked a paid speaking gig. So not only is he getting paid for it, but now he is in front of a few hundred more people who would be great potential clients for him. And this all just came from connecting and having conversations and being open to these opportunities, which is really awesome. From the JV and referral partner side of things, I just mentioned him earlier, but Brant is somebody who is really blowing it up with these referral partners. He's gotten a ton of referrals from his local personal trainer network. And oh my gosh, he's growing his business that way. In fact, just last week, he's like, I don't know how many more clients I can take. I feel like I'm getting full. Amazing. That's an amazing thing. Getting to waitlisted within, 6 months is a big deal. Again, look at your business right now and look at the potential of where it could be in the next 6 months with just one amazing referral partner. Waitlisted, fully booked, ready to expand your offer stack because you've got to find more ways to place people, right? From the social media and creating your authority here, I believe that Sudipta is just a rock star role model in this capacity. She is so committed to her clients and to showing up for them consistently. She was able to grow her TikTok following to over 100,000, and it's still growing. And she's done this by teaching live very consistently. And she actually goes live on both her TikTok and her Instagram. But that's really where she was able to build that authority within her niche. And she was constantly just giving them tips and sharing her story, talking about her business, sharing testimonials, what it's like to work with her. We really have her content dialed in. And we know that when she is consistently going live, her organic lead flow is like, whoa. I mean, we celebrate her all the time. She's really built that authority in her niche with social media. And from an ads perspective, you just heard from Jeremy yesterday. He actually does run some ads, and he has a very specific niche as well, people with Sjogren's syndrome. Well, as somebody who doesn't have the disease himself, but really is interested in helping those who do, he does run a few cost-effective ads. In fact, we just started running one with some power content that we recently created together. And he's got like 100 conversations going. 100 people requested his awesome lead magnet, 100. So he's already gotten permission to reach out to them, and he's back and forth with them. Think about what a difference it would make in your business if you were able to start 100 conversations within the next 7 days. Where would you be in 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now if 100 conversations started within the next 7 days? It's possible for you.
I know I'd be busy at the very least. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think it's important to point out here that, we've given you a lot of different ways already, just between niche authority and local authority, to build out your audience, build out your authority. And you might be feeling like, wow, that's a lot. How am I supposed to manage all of that? And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to manage doing it all. One of the things that we find is really important when we're working with coaches, helping them develop a strategy to build their authority, to generate leads, is to find where are the areas that you already kind of have an advantage or a natural gravity towards. So for some of you, you might be scared shitless of doing speaking gigs. So maybe that's not the way that you initially start building your authority in your niche. But maybe you feel a lot better in kind of one-on-one scenarios, and you start developing relationships one-on-one with referral partners. Or maybe you've already got great connections to referral partners. Maybe you don't want to do social media whatsoever. Obviously, having some degree of presence or having some audience is quite important to having a sustainable business, but maybe this isn't the thing you feel the most gravity towards. So you feel like doing live speaking gigs or, in-person speaking gigs is more up your alley. The thing to recognize here is you don't have to do it all. And in fact, if you try to do it all, you're probably going to end up overworked, burning yourself out, and actually not doing any of it to any degree of mastery where it's going to build your business reliably. And then you're going to come back and be like, Matt, Kate, this didn't work. Now, focus in on the thing that you have more of the natural gravity towards and probably have some of the best opportunities within. And that's something that we can help you uncover as well, because it's something that we do for our clients. Now, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here on phase 3, because honestly, you can build an amazing business just with local authority. You can build a huge business with local and niche authority. And once you get to mass authority, really all this does is it gets to the point where, all right, you're probably more of an educator. You're probably more of like the dancing monkey at the front of your business, rather than being the person who's getting, your hands dirty one-on-one with all of the people who are your customers. So this is completely optional. But, mass authority is about becoming a subject matter expert to the masses. And granted, some of you might be like, oh, Jillian Michaels, she says so much BS, she says some things where it's like, what was she thinking? But listen, she's a household name. She's the subject matter expert to the masses. Lots of people trust her. And ultimately, think about it. How much do you think it would cost for you to have Jillian Michaels be your personal trainer? Like, seriously, drop it in the comments. How much do you think it would cost for you to have Jillian Michaels as your personal trainer? No matter what you think of her. If you're like, oh, well, she isn't even the best personal trainer. Everybody knows her name. Or at least knows her face, because she's on magazines, on TV shows, blah, blah, blah. So, it's not necessarily something that we teach how to develop mass authority because it's not something Kate and I have done. So, we're not necessarily in integrity coaching it, but listen, I've coached celebrities before. I've lived in LA, and so I just had a little bit more proximity to celebrities. And ultimately, a lot of them, they didn't get to their celebrity status by like grinding it out, posting on social media every day. Their social media following, they might have millions of followers because they are a celebrity. So, mass authority, you kind of become the dancing monkey at the front of your business. And because of it, it's like your influence and authority almost grows with very little input. I don't think anybody here, I don't imagine, is necessarily trying to get to this level. But yeah, some people are guessing, yeah, it would cost $10,000 a month to work with Jillian Michaels. So I am actually curious, out of phase 1, local authority, phase 2, niche authority, or phase 3, mass authority, where do you feel like you need to put your focus? Put 1 for local authority, 2 for niche authority, and 3 for mass authority. All right, and while you're typing that, what we're going to dive into next here, now that you know how to create your authority so that you are positioned in a way where when it comes time for a client to work with you, they recognize like you're premium, you're different, you're somebody who's actually going to help them get results. And so they actually want to work with you. So then the next thing that we have to cover in order for you to be able to sell your $1,000 offer is how to create a no-brainer, what I call a sniper offer. So that when it's time for you to offer your program to somebody, it feels like a no-brainer to sign up. So in order to show you what a sniper offer looks like, I need to establish, why the typical signature offer that you might be working with right now is actually a price objection magnet. Now, usually what we're taught with a signature offer, if you've ever been on a webinar where somebody pitches their program at the end, it's usually like feature 1, I'm going to make you a meal plan so that you, and then maybe they give you a benefit so that you never have to wonder what to eat. And then feature 2, you're going to have a monthly review call with me so that, you can always get one-on-one feedback. And feature 3, you have, text-based support with me so that, you always can get an answer within 24 hours, whatever. Feature 4, we're going to go through, maintenance phase. After you've lost the weight, and you just list these features and maybe these benefits. Somebody's like, sitting there, yeah, shaking their head. And then it comes to the end of the call and they're like, okay, well, yeah, I feel like, I only needed feature 1 and 2. So do you have something cheaper that maybe just has feature 1 and 2? Because, I don't need features, 3 and 4. It would be kind of nice to have, your, let's say, meal planning workbook or to do the grocery shopping audit. But I feel like I already am pretty good with meal prep and grocery shopping. So yeah, do you have something cheaper? Who's ever had this happen? Where you've pitched a signature offer and somebody's been like, oh, well, I don't really need all of those things. Do you have something cheaper? All right. Drop that in the chat. Now, here is the solution, the bespoke value bomb, the sniper offer. This is the way to make sure that somebody feels like the offer is right for them. And when you actually pitch your premium price, they're like, this is exactly what I need. Therefore, I'm willing to pay a premium for it. It's everything I need and nothing more. So during the discovery call process, you've probably uncovered, somewhere between 1 to 3 problems that somebody is looking to solve. Probably uncovered what it is that they're feeling like they need in terms of support, or at least with our discovery call process, that's how it goes. You're probably figuring out what they need in terms of support. And you might even have learned what they've done in the past that hasn't worked for them. And so if you go and rewind all the way back to day 1, where I had you do step 1, do market research, step 2, do your personal audit, step 3, outline the overlap. The reason that we outline the overlap is because it gives you essentially a menu of all of these things, all of these features that you might be able to offer to somebody when it comes to coaching. It gives you this menu. And so if you've gone through the discovery call process and you hear that they have, these 3 problems, you essentially just pick from your menu of what you can offer them. It's like, oh, okay, well, because you told me that you're really struggling with staying consistent on the weekends, I have X, feature of my program that will help you solve that. That way, you're able to be consistent on the weekend. Can you see how that would help you with your 10-pound weight loss goal? Yes, awesome. Okay, so you were also telling me that it's really difficult for you, when you're, in the last program that you did, it was really difficult to have to wait until you had your scheduled call with the coach to bring up your questions. So that's why I have unlimited support, whether that's through text messages or, through video calls. We'll jump on anytime you need. Can you see how that level of support would make it a lot easier for you to stay on task? And so you just break down all of the problems that they've experienced. You pull from your menu of possible solutions, and you only pitch them the solutions to problems that they have brought up. You also give them just the exact support that they've asked for. That's it. And when you do this, it's a bespoke value bomb. It feels like the program is made exactly for them because it is. What you're offering is exactly what they need. And then if they need more on the back end, or you feel like there's a process you need to take them through on the back end, that's fine. You can do that. But, ultimately what you're offering them is what they need. So I'm sorry, there's someone power washing right next door. Hopefully that's not too loud. But yeah, hopefully you're seeing how this is going to bring a little bit more value and might be a little bit different from what you're currently doing on your discovery call processes. That is creating price resistance even at lower prices. So I'd be curious just to check in. How does this line up with your experience? Have you pitched, the typical signature offer and gotten this? Do you have something cheaper because they didn't need all of the features? Or are you already currently doing the sniper offer or something similar to it? We'd just love to see where people are at. Thank you. I'm monitoring the chat as I look down here. Simple and valuable, yep. And now simplicity, honestly, is the way to building a great business. All right, and before we move on, Kate, is there anything you want to say about this process?
It's just exactly what your clients need. This is the thing that prevents you from ever getting price shopped again and from them realizing that you've listened. And that's really what a lot of clients are, that's what everybody is looking for, right? Like as humans, we really just want to feel connected and significant and heard. And I know actually, if you've ever been on a call before where it was very obviously a sales call and you were being sold features and benefits that didn't matter to you, how did that make you feel? Drop them in the chat, drop that in the chat below. We'd love to know how that made you feel. And I'm guessing that because you had that negative experience in being sold to in that way, you may have a bit of a negative thought, or you may have some negative feelings around selling your offer in general, about raising your prices because you were once sold to in a way that felt slimy and like you weren't being heard. This puts you in integrity in your coaching. It puts you on that human level with your clients. It puts you in integrity with charging what you are worth. And actually, that's a bad thing to say because you are priceless, right? You are worth so much. But it does get you into integrity to charging what you want to charge in order to have the business that supports the life of your dreams.
Yeah. And just looking in the chat here, Lee said that he was using a pitch deck before he was working with us and he thought it was Ninja, but turns out it wasn't. Yeah, so.
It was very pretty though, I will say that.
Yes, very pretty. Awesome. All right, y'all. So hopefully you're seeing a little bit more clarity about how you can sell a $1,000 offer with less price resistance than you were previously getting. Now, first part of it is to build up your authority. And this takes time. Of course, it takes time. But it's a worthwhile investment. Something that you can start implementing immediately is what we taught you on day one, how to essentially uncover what is going to be high value, kind of building out that menu of things that you can offer to people and starting to implement this sniper offer framework, which is something that we teach. Now, for those of you who are feeling like you need some more support and some implementation to actually build a full-time career as a nutrition coach, health coach, or RD. We've talked a little bit about it. We've brought up some of the clients who we've worked with in our VIP Coach Academy and VIP Coach Mentorship. And if you're interested in that one-on-one support, we're biased. Obviously, we created these programs, but we think that this is the best way for you to grow a full-time coaching career. You've heard how we help, you've kind of seen from our clients. So if you would like to learn about how we can help you, then the next step would be to book in a business audit consult. This will be a one-on-one call with a Beyond Macros coach. Ultimately, what we do on these calls, and if you've been on a discovery call, I'm not going to tell you it's like earth-shattering, but we're going to help you uncover the root causes that have been keeping you stuck and outline what your next 90 days might look like if you were to work with us. That way you have a little bit of clarity on your next steps and how we can help. And ultimately, yes, we will make you an offer to work with us if it's appropriate. So if you do want to book these calls in, then this is the link that you can book at. What you can expect is once you click this link, it will take you to an application. It'll ask you about 10 questions. We'll review the application and reach out to book a time. And the first 5 people who actually have their applications accepted, you'll get a consult with me. I've actually opened up 5 spots, not only tomorrow, but today. If you want to just immediately jump on a call once we wrap up here today, get an application in. I'll reach out, we can jump on a call. I'll take a look at your business, kind of outline what the next 90 days might look like. But please only book in the call if you're interested in exploring mentorship. As there's nothing to hide here. We'll get on the call, help you get some clarity about what the next steps need to be. But what do those next steps look like from our perspective if you were to work with us in Academy and Mentorship? So again, only book it if you're interested in exploring mentorship, not just because you want to have a chat with me, but if you do want to have a chat with me or a coach on the team and take those next steps towards building a full-time career as a coach that you absolutely love, that's the link. Now, Kate, I know you had a few things that you wanted to say as well, so I'll just leave the link up. If you are applying now, I'll go check the applications as Kate's talking, and I can reach out and we'll schedule in a call.
Yes, I actually, I wanted to give you something, and then I also wanted to bring up some of our coaches to just actually ask them a quick question about how they've grown their business and some of the things that they've done. So I actually just want to remind you that you are already a coach. Like, you are a coach. You are somebody who decided that you really wanted to make this a career, and you're putting in the work and you're putting in the effort to do all of those things. And maybe you're questioning, like, because you've been at this for a little while and yes, you've had some success, you might be questioning though, like, can I actually do this? Can I actually make this a business? Well, I want you to just be curious here, because, well, how can you? How can you make this a full-time career? Because you might be thinking, well, I haven't been able to do this. I haven't been able to make this work yet. And that's the key word. You haven't been able to make it work yet, probably because you've been undercharging and over-delivering for so long. And I totally get it. You care. You're super heart-centered. But that's one of the big reasons why maybe you're questioning things. Because if you continue to go down the road that you're going on, it will be more difficult to go full-time. Because again, your time might be stretched as it is. So continuing to not, make money for the time that you're giving, it does make it harder. So whenever you're thinking about that, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, I want you to just remember that you are a coach. I'm going to give you a little fun acronym to remember that. So you are a coach. You are someone who cares. That's why you got into this in the first place. You give a crap about other people. You really want to help them achieve a transformation that they can sustain for a lifetime. You want to be the last coach that they ever have to hire. You care. You're optimistic. Even when things feel like your client is a little bit upset and they don't feel like they're progressing fast enough, you look at it and you go, okay, well, if a problem exists, so does a solution. It's the law of polarity. How can we find that solution for you? And your optimism drives and encourages them to continue to celebrate every single win along the way. Weight loss or not, they could just be feeling good. They could have not snapped at their kids. They could not be, sense overwhelmed. all of the little wins along the way. You are optimistically encouraging them to celebrate all of them. You are action driven. Yes, you are showing up for your business and you are consistent in creating content, having conversations and getting on calls, but you're also action driven for your clients. You inspire them to take consistent action that gets them results. When you don't know an answer to a question, you take action for your clients on behalf of your clients and you find it out. And you are always looking for ways to make their experience even better. You are curious. You are always thinking of, how can I make this work? How could we do a little bit better? How could I make this easier, faster, more enjoyable for my clients? You are curious about the other person that you're talking to from the second that you interact with them, whether it is in a post comment, in conversations, on discovery calls, on your client calls. You're always asking questions to get to know the client better, because you respect that they are an individual with every body is different. And so you give them that unique experience and you remain curious of how you can give them that experience. And you're a human. You are allowed to not know all of the answers to every question. You are interacting with another human, having a human experience. And when you realize this, coach, you release that need to be perfect all of the time, perfectly speaking your content, perfectly delivering all of your coaching calls. You release that need for perfectionism, and you also release judgment. Sometimes we hold judgment for our clients because we're like, why are they upset about that? Or why aren't they getting that? But then we remember that they're a human too. And when we just stay connected to our humanness, we become the best damn coaches there are. So yes, you can make this work for you. So I want to take a sec and bring up some of our amazing VIP coaches, and just so we can just share a little bit, and if you can hear from their perspective of how they've raised prices or what they've done to gain some local authority. So I actually want to call in Tiff first, Tiffany Phelps. She's been in our community for a little while, and you may have heard from her before. I actually mentioned Tiff yesterday because I love this story of she was actually undercharging and getting some more price objections. And when she raised her prices, she was getting less price objections. Tiff, how'd that happen?
I don't know. It's worked out really well. I think just like you said, really listening during the sales call and hearing what people want, and then trying to match your offer to that and say, oh, remember when you talked about such and such? Well, this is where this would come in handy. I think that helped a lot. And just learning how to do that.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And you are somebody who really does listen very well to all of your clients in that experience. And you just had a client interaction over the weekend who enrolled with you. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because she said something really valuable.
Yeah, at the end, I asked what she was looking for in a coach, like, what kind of support would work well for her, because that's different for everyone. And she said her number one was she just wanted someone who gave a shit. And she said that she could tell from our conversation that I did. So doing a lot of that listening and what is, where do you want to be and where are you now, and creating that gap and that solution for that problem, I think was good. So
yeah.
And she signed up with really no price objections, honestly. And it was higher than I had asked before, and it was not a problem. She actually paid in full.
Yay, that's amazing. I love that story so much. Yay. As you've increased your prices, has anything changed about what you're offering? Like, are you giving more? Are you giving them more, like, programming or apps or meal plans or blah, blah, blah?
No, I'm actually giving less. When I first started, before I ever did this, I was trying to meet with people once a week, and they really didn't need to meet with me once a week, I don't think. So now it's usually every 2 weeks. I meet with people and we touch base in between. They always have access to me through Messenger, like you said. And that seems fine for everyone. I do offer, if they're struggling or they want to meet once a week, and I've done that for some clients who were kind of going through a rough spot, and we would touch base once a week. And that was good with them. And they did it for maybe a month, and we went back to 2 weeks. But no, definitely not more. I don't do meal plans. I don't really want to do a meal. Well, I don't want to do a
Mhm.
meal plan, and I don't think that helps anyone. So we've created meal plans together sometimes, but I don't write them for the client.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it's no more. And you feel like you need to do that. Like, oh, what else can I give? But really, they don't want to see you every week for
Yeah.
the most part,
Yeah.
or every day or 3 times a week. I think, you know, the every other week seems to work really well for most people.
Mm. I really love what you just said here. Like you raised your prices and you didn't give more. You actually dialed it back a little bit. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you simplified.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of it too, and I think Shauna, one of the other coaches, mentioned this at one point. People really aren't investing in you; they're investing in themselves. And
Mhm.
so, if you can get that across to them when they're ready to make a change, it's easier for them, and they look at it as an investment in themselves. So
Yes.
rather than selling you and your services, I think selling the solution to their problem is the better way to go.
Hmm. Exactly. Thank you so much, Tiff. I may
You're
call on
welcome.
you again
Okay.
because I'm actually, and I know that you spoke with Andrew when he was creating his in-person training. Andrew, you were working, you did an in-person training at your CrossFit gym to build local authority with your niche, and I know Tiff, you did that too. What were some of the things that you did that really helped you feel like you were building that authority?
Yeah. Well, awesome to see you guys. Um, First off, yeah, just to build the authority, I would say, um, just having conversations with you and the team, bouncing off the ideas for the challenge that I ran, and just helping instill more confidence, right? A lot of times I feel like we have that imposter syndrome that we talk about a lot. And so working through that, getting away from that and just having the confidence going into this in-person presentation, something I had never done before, and then running a challenge right off the back of that. And just, yeah, having the confidence, right? Like I've got my certification. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a little nervous, but like we've talked about in the past, working through that imposter syndrome really, really helped.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious too, with what you offer your clients, when somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, or you kind of know, but you'd like to do a little bit more research, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I'll just straight up tell them, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm gonna look into it and I'm gonna get back to you as soon as possible, and we're gonna work through that. Just being open and honest with them. They love that, and I just like love being like that as well, right?
Hmm. Yeah, open and human. I love that. I know, like, we just
Exactly.
were asking Tiff about her recent experience that the client that worked with her was like, yeah, she was looking for in a coach somebody who she felt like gave a shit about her. Um, why do you feel like clients are magnetized to you? Why do you feel like what is it about your offer? What is it about like what you're offering them that gets them to enroll?
Yeah, I think it's just being real, like having that magnetic message that we talk about, and showing them like who I am as a coach, right? Like they can find all the information they need through Google at the end of the day,
Mm.
right? But when you're being real, being human, making that connection, going live, like I remember the first time you had me going live, I was like, oh my God, what the heck is what is gonna happen? But yeah, going live, showing that I'm a real person and not just like a textbook. And then giving them some like insight and just having people being able to see my personality. Oh, Andrew really resonates with me. I like his personality. I like what he's talking about. let me just follow him and like some stuff, comment on some stuff, and then boom, before I know they know it, we're having a conversation. And maybe it doesn't happen immediately, but it does happen over time. And then when they're like, hey, I actually want to lose 15 pounds and like get better in the gym, I want to talk to Andrew. So
Boom. I love that. I love that. And I want to ask you this question too, because I know that there are so many coaches in our community and that are watching right now who are still side hustling with that goal of being a career coach and just sitting right now in a bit of fear going, can I really do this? Can I really make this work? You're somebody who did quit your full-time job and you are a career coach. So what advice would you have for them? What lovely wisdom could you speak into their hearts right now?
yeah, just take a chance, right? Like just have some faith, because it does all end up working out in the end. Of course, it's scary, as cliche as like that sounds. Like sometimes you just need to rip that band-aid off. And like the same way we feel about our potential clients, like, oh, they're going through something new, they're thinking about doing nutrition coaching, they don't know what to expect. Kind of the same thing as a nutrition coach, like going full time. Oh, you don't know what to expect, but you're only going to find out one way. And if you keep having one foot in and one foot out, nothing's going to change at the end of the day. So take that leap, do the backflip off the cliff, land in the pool.
And then come up for air and enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Andrew. It's good to see you, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
Thomas Osuna, I've got a couple questions for you, sir. You have a really cool niche, action sport athletes. And, because it's like so cool. And I think like there's many of us who are like, oh my God, I want to coach athletes too, right? Breaking into that niche, how'd you do it?
Oh man, it was tough. It was a tough decision to come to, actually. Like I'm sure you remember when we first started, it was like I was fumbling around a couple different ones, but then I realized like what I like to do for fun is ride my dirt bike, and just being a part of that, like a bigger part of that, sounded fun, sounded more easy to me, and I could better relate to them and other action sport athletes. And yeah, just the ease of where I could fit into it is how it came about, really.
Yeah. So something that you love to do and clients that you would really love to serve because you have that common connection and something you're already doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, you were able to create a really cool method that really sets you apart and disrupts the market, the Unfazed Trinity method. So when it comes to what you offer your clients, how does that work? Like how are you successful in like not just saying, okay, well, we're only going to do this or we're only going to do that? Or if they do really want to just focus on this one thing and not the whole Trinity method, how do you handle that?
I mean, obviously, like you guys have been saying, I'm sure the past 3 days, but from what I was here today, it's everybody's individual, like everybody's their own person. So you kind of have to treat them that same way. Like one of the current guys I'm working with right now, he's only nutrition, but he's also training on the side. And then he's also, I'm sure at some point, going to struggle with some mental stuff. So how I kind of went into that was like, look, this is what you want to work on. We're obviously going to handle that first and foremost. And you have my 110% effort and support in that. But if you have any other questions, let me know. And it's not going to change anything. So yeah, no, it doesn't change anything because they're still getting me, they're still getting my time, they're still getting their investment that they're paying for. So
yeah,
they're paying for a result, and I'm going to help them whichever way I can.
And speaking of like investing in themselves and paying for the result that they want, just because he's solely focusing on nutrition doesn't mean that you've changed your prices.
Right.
For him. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I didn't
Write
change
that down.
anything for him.
Write that down. That's a really important thing, guys. Remember, like, you're offering clients what it is that they need instead of all of the possible things that you could offer. You're offering them exactly what they need, and the price doesn't decrease just because they're only working with any one thing. Because like Thomas said, it's still his time, it's still his expertise, that's still the result. I really, really love that, and I appreciate that. Yeah. So another question that I have for you, because I know that you've done, before you started working with us, you've done some like other program. You did another program, I think at least one more in the past, and it wasn't maybe the right time for you to get the value from that program, or I know that some of the people in our community are asking that question right now before they hit the apply button, to even talk about what it would be like to work with us. I'd just like to have your perspective on what it was like to reinvest after having invested in something that wasn't exactly what you were looking for.
The decision, or I guess feeling to reinvest, was easier than like one might think, because I did go through the letdown of what I went through. Like, so I guess I can start at the beginning. Is I was price shopping, I was coach shopping, I was doing all of the above. I talked to you and a couple other people, talked to them for quite a few like weeks and months or something like that. And I did end up having like an enrollment conversation with the initial people that I started with. And, you know, it was a hard sell, and like they were constantly selling, boom, boom, boom. And they were selling exactly what you guys were just teaching not 30 minutes ago. Feature, feature, feature. Here's what you get. Here's what you get. And I bit. So it ended up being like a total hands-off just course. You know, you get semi-support, random one-off calls, but the course was not really easily digestible. And it's just kind of like a letdown. They were like, oh, here's what you'll get in 2 months if you do exactly what this course says. And I was like, cool, awesome. I did it. Nothing happened. And, you know, I was like, oh, whatever, maybe. And then I came back to you guys, started talking, and had a couple calls with Shauna, and just hearing, I guess, the sounding board type conversation from her, because she would reflect back to me with a question about the exact answer that I just gave. And then she would, you know, expand on it. It was like I was actually talking to a person, not really a script. So that made it a lot easier. Like the investment in itself was a bit more, but it made it feel easy, and like the full support from not only Shauna at the first time, but all you guys once I initially came on, and until now, it's just made it so much easier. And yeah, should have done this in the beginning.
Well, we appreciate you. And I also wanted to mention that Thomas is actually at a place in his business too, where he is offering like scholarships and sponsorships, which is really cool. So just like we were talking about on day one, that's available to you if that's something that you want to do. If you are working with a client who you really want to work with, who is a soulmate client, who really maybe just can't afford to work with you, and you don't want to work with people who just, you know, you don't only want to work with people who can afford you. Well, this is a great way to do that. Sponsorships and scholarships, and Thomas does just that. So thank you, my friend. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Coaches, I just want you to sit for a moment and just realize and visualize where you could be now, like where you are in your business right now. It's fine, because it's exactly where you have to be in order to go somewhere else, in order to rise up and create a new reality. So in the next 3 months from now, you could be at a place where you've dialed in your messaging, we've really scaled up your confidence, where you are charging more than what you're charging now. Now, does it mean that if you're at $200 a month right now, we're forcing you to go up to $1,000 a month? Absolutely not. But we can work with you to scale up your confidence so that you're at a point where you're feeling really good about the rate that you're charging. You're super dialed in on how you are making offers, and your price objections are dwindling. In fact, you're enrolling clients with ease, and the whole process of the whole sales process, everything about your business is really starting to feel easy. The results are feeling fast. You're back to enjoying the whole process and who you're working with and how you're coaching them. In just 3 months, that can be your reality. And in 6 months from now, you could have another offer. You could be getting close to what you want your rate ceiling to be at. Maybe you're going to be there in 6 months. And now you have a continuation offer. So where clients go after they complete, 3-6 months of working with you. And maybe this is where you begin to create another offer because you're starting to get to that point where you're going to be waitlisted. You're really close to being waitlisted, and you want to create an opportunity to serve more people. So in 6 months' time, close to your price ceiling, if you're not already there, you have authority, you've got a solid offer, you have a continuation offer, you're building another offer to serve more people because you're close to being waitlisted. And in a year from now, you're at a point where your pricing is intact, your leads are flowing, you've got a suite of offers, and you're looking at now, potentially you've built out a small team. You have a support team of maybe a VA, maybe another coach. Maybe this is a time when you're starting to explore different scholarship opportunities and different ways to serve more people. Maybe you're on your way to becoming a household name. This is all possible for you because wherever you want to be, any goal that you've thought of achieving is possible for you simply because you planted that seed. That seed was planted, that idea was planted. Now, all you have to do is water it just a little bit by taking action. So I know that you're a career coach. Otherwise, you wouldn't have spent these 3 days with us. You wouldn't be watching now. But I know you really want to make this business work for you. And maybe you just haven't figured it out yet. But you can and you will, because 3, 6, 12 months from now, making one decision to fill out an application and having a conversation with us could change everything about your business and your life. And I'm so excited to see you there in that opportunity and co-create it with you.
Beautiful. You always pump me up, Kate. Awesome. Well, now that we are here at the top of the hour, it has been an amazing 3 days with you all. Hopefully, this has given you a new perspective on how you can build a career as a nutrition coach, health coach, or RD. Hopefully, it's given you some new frameworks for how you can build and sell a 1K offer so that you're able to do it with ease without having to grind away, chasing hundreds of clients just to make ends meet. And I am aware that someone reached out and said that they were having trouble with the application link. So if you wanted to apply and you're having trouble with the application link for whatever reason, just shoot me a DM and I'll get you scheduled in for your business audit. All right, y'all, stay engaged with the process. Much love. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you in the ONCC.